at Adaba FM will not only give you news at the speed of nanosecond, but will also break it down with up-to-date analysis, informed opinions, and distinct professionalism. That's why you love us. Adaba 88.9 FM, your go-to station.
It's midday. Good afternoon. I'm Adeola Adekunle with Global News. In the news, Nigerians arrive Abuja from war-torn Sudan as United Nations says crisis may not end soon. 13-year-old boy kills 8 in Serbia.
This is the news.
Prominent economists, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association and opposition parties have taken a swipe at President Muhammadu Buhari and the Senate over the government's about 23 trillion naira extra budgetary spending approved by the upper legislative chamber on Wednesday. Groups including NECA and the Lagos Chambers of Commerce and Industry have questioned the rationale for the loan by the administration that was approaching its exit. Economists, in separate interviews with newsmen, described the approval by the Senate as unusual. With the approval by the Senate of the loan, Nigeria's external debt will rise to 68.95 trillion naira. The first group of 376 Nigerians fleeing the crisis in Sudan arrived in Abuja after being stranded for days at the Egyptian border following visa issues. The evacuees were airlifted in 2 planes, the Nigerian commercial carrier Evacuees and a military aircraft from Aswan in neighboring Egypt. The visibly happy returnees were received by the Foreign Ministry and Emergency Services. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, Sadiya Farouk, said each returnee would be given $200 to enable them settle home. Nigeria deployed 400 luxury buses to take the evacuees to Egypt for airlifting to the West African country. Meanwhile, the death of a well-known actress killed in crossfire in the north of Khartoum has shocked residents of Sudan's capital as they hear of more and more friends and relatives caught up in the fighting. Asia Abdelmajid, who turned 80 last year, was famous for her theater performances. She first came to prominence in the 1965 production of the play Pamsika. It was put on at the National Theatre in Omdurman to mark the anniversary of Sudan's first revolution against a coup leader. She was considered a pioneer of the stage and the country's first professional stage actress, later retiring to become a teacher. Her family said she was buried within hours of her shooting on Wednesday morning in the grounds of a kindergarten where she was working. In the meantime, the United Nations aid chief has said it will be difficult to secure an end to the fighting in Sudan as the warring parties are keen to keep it going. Martin Griffiths was speaking to newsmen after visiting Port Sudan on the Red Sea coast. He said he had asked the rival generals who are fighting for control to meet him face to face to discuss urgent delivery of humanitarian aid. He also said the 2 rival parties spoke of their attachment to humanitarian principles, but there seemed not to be a will to end the war. However, a new 7-day truce is due to start, but previous ceasefires are broken down. You're on to Global News from Adaba 88.9 FM. Akure transmitting from Ilaramoki. After the break, 13-year-old boy kills 8 in Serbia. Details in the second part of the bulletin. Join us again.
The news on 88.9 FM online platforms at Adaba FM TV on YouTube, Adaba 88.9 FM on Facebook.
Visit our website www.adaba889.fm or download Adaba FM app on Google Play Store. You can be part of us on our social media platforms www.facebook.com/adabafm88.9 on Facebook, at Adaba889FM on Instagram and Twitter, and Adaba FM TV on YouTube. To provide us information, you can reach us via email newsroom@adaba889.fm. And now to the rest of the bulletin. The World Food Program and USAID have suspended food deliveries in Tigray. In northern Ethiopia, following the discovery that relief aid had been stolen, the USAID Administrator Samantha Power said food shipments had been diverted and sold on the local market. She said deliveries would resume once there was confidence that they would reach the intended population while facing famine. The interim leader of Tigray, Getachew Reda, says he's setting up a task force to tackle aid theft. He called on humanitarian agencies to continue delivering aid to the most vulnerable. Millions of people in Tigray suffer from food shortages after a 2-year war between Ethiopian government forces and the Tigray People's Liberation Front. Now, explosions have been heard in Kiev and other Ukrainian cities a day after Russia accused Ukraine of carrying out a drone attack on the Kremlin. Attacks were also reported in Zaporizhzhia and Odessa in the south. The airstrikes come as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is due to speak at The Hague as part of an unexpected visit to the Netherlands. He will also visit the International Criminal Court, which is investigating alleged Russian war crimes in Ukraine. Russia has accused Ukraine of attempting to assassinate President Vladimir Putin, but Mr. Zelensky denied that his country carried out the attack. During his visit to the Netherlands, Mr. Zelensky is expected to meet Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte for more military support. Following the alleged drone attacks, Russia threatened to retaliate when and where it considered necessary. Police in Serbia say a teenager who killed 8 fellow students and a security guard in a school planned the attack for weeks and had a kill list, according to police. The 13-year-old was arrested following Wednesday morning's attack at the Vladislav Ribnica Primary School in central Belgrade. Another 6 pupils and a teacher were also injured in the shooting. Police say the motive for the attack was still being investigated. Officers in helmets and bulletproof vests conducted off the area around the school, located in the central Vraka neighborhood. The suspect is alleged to have used his father's guns, both of which had legal permits. He is also said to have gone to a shooting range more than once with his father before the killings. The boy's mother and father have since been arrested. Sport. FIFA President Gianni Infantino has confirmed $152 million as the prize money for this year's Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. The FIFA boss, in a statement on the football governing body website, said FIFA had at least set an example by increasing the total funding package at the Women's World Cup 2023 to $152 million, which trebled the amount paid in 2019 and 10 times more than in 2015. He also added that FIFA still had to sell media rights for the tournament to some major markets because the offers were undervalued. The biggest women's football competition is slated to start on July the 20th and will be hosted jointly by Australia and New Zealand. And now to end global news, a recap of our top stories. We told you that the first group of 376 Nigerians fleeing the crisis in Sudan arrived in Abuja after being stranded for days at the Egyptian border following visa issues. The United Nations aid chief has said it will be difficult to secure an end to the fighting in Sudan as the warring parties are keen to keep it going. And a 13-year-old boy has been arrested in Serbia for killing 8 students in his school. That's Global News. It was edited by Sunday Ajiboye. I'm Adeola Adekunle. Thank you for listening. Good afternoon.